It's definitely a chance to reflect on more than 20 years of my own work doing this show. And this looking back is not easy always. It shows the good sides and the not so good sides also of a progression of a career. It's interesting to understand what really happens in those last 20 years. Actually, it was the kind of my beginnings were pre-computer, pre-digital photography, just to name an example. And of course, early work was so simple. Out of a necessity of my office being small and companies that I worked with very small too, and technology that we had available very limited. All that now in reflection, looking back, seems really beautiful and quite pure. And something that almost I felt something or some of that quality got lost over the kind of the complexity, the kind of the opportunities that we have today. Not that I want to miss them, or it's not a nostalgic look backwards. It's just realizing what has actually happened, and that was I think quite revealing for the process of doing this exhibition. I'm not really sure what to think about being a young designer today and what they should do or what they should not do. I know that at the time when I was a young designer or a student, I wouldn't have wanted anyone to tell me how good the past was and what I should do in other ways. So it's difficult. I think though that I was probably privileged to study design and make the beginnings of my career in a time that was much slower and easier, simpler. I don't envy the young designers today having, well, on the one hand, a lot of choice, and that's good, but the choice sometimes is difficult, simply more difficult having to choose than just one way forward, which there is, and there was in the past. There was just one way of doing things, and that made it a little bit easier, maybe. I think the last 5 to 6 years have been difficult years for everyone, for the companies we work with, for everyone that is kind of connected to that world of industry, and we are too as designers. I always thought the difficulty is a chance also to change things and to rethink, to kind of to change perspective or position. Let's do things less or more considerate. That I think is a chance or a positive way out of a problem. But at the same time, I see companies that we work with, great companies, beautiful companies that are struggling simply because world economy or the economy of their own country or region is falling apart and makes it very difficult to sustain their operation. And it's very sad to see that. And actually, I would say I have those last years have been years in which I have turned more attention to those smaller companies. I actually enjoy working with them. I see that there is really something we can change or contribute or actually engage in even small strategies, but just actually making a real contribution, other than the big corporations which have become so complex and of course less personal, where the position as a designer is a constant kind of readjustment of, you know, what is my position, where do I have, where's my vote in the project, and so on. With the smaller companies, I think we simply work more closely, and that makes the whole process more direct, much more efficient, and I think enables better work to come out. The question is reoccurring. What is a dream project? Something one would really like to do, and one typical answer I would give is that actually it's the unexpected projects that come out of nowhere that I would have never even thought about. It's those are the really exciting projects, more so than those kind of dream projects, something one thinks I would really like to do. Anything I could think of would be projects that are far out of my normal scope of work, even though I like it a lot. I've been kind of designing furniture for most of my career, and that's what I really love. But of course, I always long for projects that would completely kind of take me out of that into another scale, another world of project, another culture even. But what that is, I don't know. And the less I know about it, the more exciting it will be when it comes.